Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, we will be exploring the sustainability of the new financing module announced by the Finance Minister to improve the cash flow for cocoa farmers as government moves to offset debts owed cocoa farmers. We shall be joined by a finance person. Also in this bulletin, Ghana Stock Exchange market capitalization crosses 180 billion cedis, more than 50% increase from the same period last year. Plus, MTN Ghana announces disruption on its mobile money platform from tomorrow, a move expected to affect movement of funds during the period. Details of these and more coming your way all in a moment. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka. And looking at our stories, Finance Minister Dr. Kasiala Tuforsen has announced a new financing model to offset debts owed cocoa farmers. The model involves using domestic cocoa bonds with repayment tied to sales proceeds within the same crop year. This move aims to address the financial challenges facing the cocoa sector, including a significant debt burden and operational inefficiencies. The new financing model is part of a broader set of reforms to revive Ghana's cocoa industry, including a revised farm gate price of 41,392 cedis per ton for the 2025-2026 season. Here's Dr. Tuforsen when he addressed the press yesterday.
Alternatively, the previous syndicated loan model requires that Cocoa Board sells forward most of the raw beans to lock in the contract, which repays the loan and serves as collateral as well. This system did not allow Cocoa Board to optimize prices on the market. In addition, the use of raw beans contract as collateral for the loan meant that Ghana could not optimize its installed capacity for processing. The new financing model will utilize domestic cocoa beans to purchase cocoa. The new financing model will utilize domestic cocoa bonds to purchase cocoa and repay the cocoa proceeds within each crop year. The bonds will be used to raise a revolving fund for Cocoa Board to turn around at least once during the season. The model will also revive the indigenous licensed buying companies that have been completely thrown out of business as a result of the current financing model. State-owned Produce Buying Company, PBC, will be revived to resume full operations and become the leading licensed buying company in the cocoa sector with immediate effect. With the new financing model, Cocoa Board can sell beans of any volume to local processing companies to promote value addition and job creation. Cabinet has, however, directed that with immediate effect, the remainder of the beans for the crop year 2025-2026 should be allocated for domestic processing.
And we know the World Bank Group is projecting a 2% decline in global agricultural prices in 2026, a development that could ease food and input costs for Ghana, but also poses risk to cocoa export earnings and shifting global demand and supply dynamics. Western Turkey reports.
The World Bank Group is forecasting a slight decline in global agricultural prices in 2026, with its agricultural price index expected to slip by about 2%. Food and agricultural raw material prices are projected to remain broadly stable as global supply keeps pace with demand. However, beverage prices, including cocoa and coffee, are expected to fall by around 7% as production expands. For Ghana, the outlook presents mixed implications. Lower global fertilizer prices, projected to decline by about 5% this year, could ease input costs for farmers and support efforts to stabilize domestic production. Fertilizer prices surged by 18% in 2025, driven by strong demand, trade restrictions, and production shortfalls. At the same time, softer cocoa prices could weigh on export earnings if not offset by higher production volumes or improved value addition. Meanwhile, the finance minister is expected to announce measures at expediting payment to cocoa farmers as government works to stabilize the sector amid evolving global price conditions.
All right, let's have a discussion on the new financing model announced by the Finance Minister. Yao Lati is a senior country partner at Deloitte. He joins me via Zoom. Thank you so much, Mr. Lati, for making time to speak to us here on the Business Live. Now, can you explain to us how the domestic cocoa bonds will work and how repayment will be tied to sales proceeds?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think we have to understand the challenges that we've had, particularly with financing the cocoa sector. So historically, we used to have the licensed buying companies who would negotiate terms with the farmers and then buy from the farmers. And we got away, or we kind of got that aspect of the cocoa value chain truncated. And the government took over, and then we started running the syndicated loan scenario. That syndicated loan scenario was feasible under economic conditions which were favorable at the time. Subsequently, when we ran into our challenges, our economic challenges, it was very difficult for you to syndicate loans under the economic challenges that we had at the time. So then government had to find different ways of financing the buying of cocoa. So with this arrangement, what is going to happen, and with all the proposals that have been made, is that there is going to be an automatic adjustment in the price of cocoa. That will, in other words, incentivize farmers in Ghana to sell to the government of Ghana rather than smuggling to neighboring Cote d'Ivoire. Also linked to this is the fact that government expects produce buying company, PBC, which has historically been managing this process, to be revived and to take over the process. What it means is that this process of relying on external loan facilities and loan syndication will now be domesticated. So we are going to use domestic bonds. We are going to rely on our local currency, because what the challenge that has happened in the past is that we relied on syndicated loans, which were denominated in foreign currency, and governments at the time of servicing our local currency would have depreciated. So we have challenges servicing the facility. Now with the domestic bonds, it will be linked to the local currency, and then we will avoid the forex issue. So I think it's a very good strategy that the government is implementing, and will help the sector revive. So
you believe it will work, right?
I believe it's going to work. And I think what we would like to advise government over and above instituting these measures as proposed is for us also to revisit what we have signed on to, what we call the Ghana Ivory Coast Cocoa Initiative. Under the Ghana Ivory Coast Cocoa Initiative, there was supposed to be some arrangement of a floor and a cap. We wouldn't have been in this situation if we had stuck to it. Now farmers are smuggling to Ivory Coast. It would have been the case that we would have had the same price in Ivory Coast and Ghana. So there will be no incentive to smuggle cocoa to Ivory Coast. So that Ghana Cocoa Initiative, which in my view, we have not stuck to and we have to revisit, is something that will help support this initiative by government. So it's a very good initiative, but you should have other measures to support it and to back it. Yeah.
Mr. Lati, I want to know how this financing model, for example, will improve the cash flow for farmers, and what percentage of the debt do you expect to be cleared by this way?
So I think, in my view, there are two things that will help. First is for government proposing to involve license buying companies. What it means is that these license buying companies will negotiate terms that will benefit farmers and will incentivize them to sell to the government. Secondly, it's also to avoid a situation where we are financing the purchase of loans or cocoa with external facilities, which are dollar denominated. We are going to use local currency. What it means is that over time, government will earn a lot more revenue from sale of cocoa, which are bought at competitive prices and then sold at favorable terms. So there will be enough cash flow for government to service the existing debts. Because at the moment, with Cocoa Board having defaulted on the previous debt, what it means is that the company or the entity will have to be saved through its current almost insolvent situation and then be revived to do what it's doing. But now, with government moving away from cocoa and heavily relying on Cocoa Board to be doing these transactions, what's going to happen is the accumulation of debt on the Cocoa Board side will reduce, and we'll be able to clear existing debt. At the same time, be able to buy the cocoa at competitive terms for farmers, and it will be an incentive for farmers to sell to government of Ghana as opposed to smuggling into.
I appreciate that, but again, what is going to be the impact of this on fresh capital from investors, largely?
I mean, what is going to happen is now we believe that if government set out a detailed operational strategy, these are what we call thematic approaches. So at the high level, they say they're going to revive PBC. At the high level, they say they're going to implement automatic tariff adjustments of producer price. Now, that automatic tariff adjustment is going to be an incentive to investors to invest in the sector, particularly so if you look at its equivalent in the oil market sector. In the oil market sector, when we deregulated the sector, oil price at the pump reflects what's happening on the world market. So when the world market price of oil goes up, you see price at the pumps automatically and symmetrically going up. If prices go down, you see oil prices at the pumps also going down. So what this means, that in the same way, farmers is going to feel impact, where the impact will be that when cocoa price go up, they will have a symmetric impact on farmers. They will have the benefits. At the same time, if cocoa price also reduces, it will have symmetric impact on farmers as they benefit from increased cocoa prices.
Yaolati, Senior Country Partner, Deloitte, thank you so much for your time this very moment. I'm glad you could join us on Business Live. Now, the market capitalization for all listed companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange has crossed a 180 billion cedis mark last week. This is a sign of growth following the positive economic indicators recorded by the country in the last few months. More in the following report.
The market capitalization is a measure of total value of all listed companies based on their share prices on the stock exchange. This is described as an important signal of market growth for the local bears, which has been adjudged the best stock market in Africa for last year as the highest equity performer ahead of other markets. The market capitalization of 180 billion cedis, which was achieved last week, is about 53% increase from the figure recorded same time last year, which stood at 117 billion cedis. The achievement in the market capitalization further puts the Ghana Stock Exchange on a positive growth trajectory as many investors turn to the market for their business activities. Over 26 million shares were traded for the period. Meanwhile, between January and February 2026, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index recorded an increase of 2.89%, whilst that of the Financial Stock Index recorded 6.63%.
One of our top stories, telecoms giant MTN Ghana has announced that there will be some disruption on its mobile money platform from Saturday midnight to Sunday morning between the hours of 6:30 a.m. Now, MTN in a notice revealed that the disruption, which will last for just 6 hours, 30 minutes, is to help MTN undertake a planned system upgrade on its mobile money platform. It goes on to say the telecoms giant again added that the exercise is very critical to enhance service delivery. The company apologized to its customers for the inconvenience caused. They're no longer with MTN because they are turning the season of love into a life-saving mission with its Save a Life blood donation campaign aimed at boosting Ghana's national blood supply. More in this report.
In the spirit of Valentine's Day, MTN Ghana is promoting life-saving generosity through its Save a Life blood donation campaign. Chief Executive of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett, described the initiative as part of the company's responsibility to take care of Ghanaians beyond providing telecom services.
We've been doing 15 years, and 26,000 bloods have been donated. That's 26,000 Ghanaians who have had their lives saved in operations and childbirth, etc., etc. So it's really important. This year we want to set an ambitious target. We want to be more than 10,000. That's 10,000 Ghanaians whose lives have been saved. We have a responsibility to our fellow Ghanaians to look after them. And so that's what we want to achieve this year.
Chief Executive of Carl Bank PLC, Carl Selassie Assem, stated that the exercise will be sustained annually to create lasting impact.
We being neighbors in our geographic location and having the same colors, I thought it was a great opportunity for us to partner. It is something that is going to be annual, and we'll do greater things together as the two forces in banking and telecommunication come together. I think we should be able to add a greater life to the society in Ghana by making sure that our delivery in the healthcare infrastructure is solid. And blood is life. And we, as MTN and Carl Bank, are giving back life to society.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive of National Blood Service Ghana, Shelley Phyllis Ohenewa Owusu Ofori, urged corporate Ghana to support blood donation drive and help boost national blood stocks.
Voluntary blood donors are the backbone of any healthcare system. We currently do not do so well with voluntary donations, and therefore we call out to corporate Ghana to support blood services across the country. It is always a win-win when corporate Ghana comes in, because you help to boost the morale of your staff. Your staff give and are part of giving to society and supporting the national supply of blood. And you also ensure that blood banks across Ghana are stocked up with adequate stocks and safe stocks, because the voluntary donor is the safest donor.
Amid periodic blood shortages, the initiative highlights the importance of partnership in strengthening Ghana's healthcare system.
This is still Business Live. We are back with more shortly. Hello again, welcome back to Business Live. Pharmaceutical firm Intravenous Infusion PLC seeking approval from shareholders to raise about 50 million cedis through a renunciable rights issue as part of efforts to recapitalize the business and strengthen its financial position. Managing Director Mukhtar Saluilihu at an extraordinary general meeting says the move is aimed at improving liquidity, supporting expansion plans, and ensuring the company has enough working capital to sustain operations.
Management of the company says the fundraising will be done through a renounceable rights issue, alongside a private placement and the conversion of some convertible loans into equity. Managing Director Mukhtar Swaliu explains that the move is intended to boost liquidity, secure raw materials for production, and support expansion efforts.
We are here today to seek the mandate of shareholders to raise 50 million Ghana cedis to recapitalize the company through renounceable rights issue of shares and private placement. We are also here this morning to also seek the approval of our dear shareholders for a convertible debt of 5,039,540. All of these are seeking to help us to put the company back into profitability. It's very timely because we are aware that current treasury bill rates are falling, Government bonds rates are also falling. So this is the right time to invest in equity. So we are bringing it before our shareholders as well as all prospective investors who are interested to invest in intravenous infusions.
If approved, the recapitalization is expected to reposition the company for sustainable growth within Ghana's pharmaceutical industry.
Sinapi Abatras has taken a step in promoting youth and economic empowerment, graduating 247 beneficiaries of its youth and apprenticeship program designed to build employable skills. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, Chief Executive of Sinapi Abatras, Joyce Owusu-Dabo, described the graduation as not as an endpoint, but as a launch pad to economic breakthrough.
Sinapi Abatras has demonstrated its unwavering commitment to transforming lives as it graduated 247 young men and women under its flagship youth apprenticeship program. The program is designed to equip vulnerable youth with employable skills to reduce unemployment and curb social vices. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, Chief Executive of Sinapi Abatras, Joyce Owusu-Dabo, emphasized the organization's dedication to transforming lives by improving the economic prospects and living conditions of young people.
This event marked another significant milestone in our shared commitment to empowering the youth of Ghana through skills development, mentorship, and entrepreneurship. As Sinapi Abatras, we hold a firm belief that every young person carries within them a seed of potential, a seed that when nurtured through training, guidance, and opportunity can grow to transform families, communities, and our nation as a whole. Sinapi Apprenticeship Program embodies this belief. This program is designed to equip our young people, particularly the less privileged youth, with practical technical skills, sound business knowledge, and strong ethical values, enabling them not only to find employment, but to create employment for themselves.
Chairman for the occasion and Municipal Chief Executive for Ghana North, Akwete Agbo, commended Sinapi Abatras and similar institutions for their indispensable role in national development.
They have been able to mobilize about 200 plus young women and men to give them a skill. And as you all know, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama vision is to ensure that every youth in this country have a skill. And Sinapi Aba is just doing a wonderful job to augment the present effort to providing a proper job skills to the youth. So as a municipal assembly, we cannot just sit and watch Sinapi Aba to do this work alone. So we've come to support them.
Sinapi Abatras says through the Youth Apprenticeship Program, it will continue to support the youth to contribute to economic development.
Thanks so much for watching Business Live. I am Pius Kujubaka.